Hi, I'm Sarah Tran. I am the Capacity Building Consultant for Communities of Opportunity, and I also work as a consultant and coach supporting racial justice and movement building work.
And hello, my name is Andrea Capaign Sanderson, and I'm the CEO of Bird Bar Place, an organization committed to helping people help themselves through direct services, community action, and advocacy. I'm also a co-founder of the BIPOC ED Coalition of Washington State and co-creator of the Black Future Co-op Fund. Sarah and I have partnered together on numerous initiatives, and we're excited to be with you today to talk about community collaborations.
This video is a part of the Community Collaborations Toolkit, which was created by Communities Rise to support organizations like you that want to partner with one another to achieve a shared goal that benefits community. The full toolkit can be found on the Communities of Opportunity website and the Communities Rise website. Whereas this video is going to highlight some key concepts on community collaborations, the written materials of the toolkit will allow you to dive more deeply into the topic and explore checklists and templates that can help strengthen your partnership.
The Community Collaborations Toolkit is comprised of 4 parts: an introduction, the Community Collaboration Legal Checklist, a legal template for community collaboration agreements, and this video.
While this toolkit is focused on guiding you through building the legal agreement for community collaborations, none of these materials should be construed as legal advice or any other form of professional advice or counsel. Each community collaboration is unique and complex. For legal or professional advice, please consult the relevant professional for your needs. You'll also hear us refer to community partners in this video, but use the term community collaboration for the legal agreement itself. The reason for this is that while we often refer to each other as partners in community work, the term partner actually carries a specific and narrow definition when used in the context of the law, and that's different than what most community collaborations entail.
We'd love to highlight some of the key takeaways from the toolkit that can help spark important conversations between you and your community partners or collaborators. There are 3 main takeaways that we want to highlight when it comes to community collaborations. They are:
Get clear and aligned on the purpose of the collaboration.
clarify roles and responsibilities.
Prepare for conflict. It's very important that all of the participating organizations are clear about why you are coming together and what you're planning to achieve together. Create a written statement of what you hope to achieve. List the products or outcomes of the collaboration and the projected timeframe. Clarifying and aligning around the purpose also helps you and your partners determine what values you need to share as a group and where it's okay to operate differently. This can be key to preventing unnecessary conflict. For instance, if your collaboration is a network of different groups that are supporting trans youth, and you're holding monthly meetings to share information and resources, you might want to establish a shared value around confidentiality so that you can protect the youth. But you may not need to share a value of attending every single meeting or being on time to every meeting because you're operating on a drop-in as needed basis. Andrea, can you share an example of why clarifying the purpose of a collaboration is so important?
Yes, Bird Bar Place formed a collaborative several years ago. We came together because we wanted to see a better world, a thriving and vibrant world for Black people. And each of our organizations in the partnership held different roles in the community. Hence, we each approached our work differently. Though we all had the same desire to bring about this vibrant and thriving world, we set out to be really clear about our purpose, about our point of accountability to each other in the work in that moment. We clarified that in year 1, we wanted to simply learn from each other, do some partnership deepening, do some healing and repair work, simply do some getting to know you. This first year helped us to undergird the work of future years. The second year, we clarified the purpose of the work was going to be hearing from our Black community. It was important that we created plans and solutions that were community informed. We finally clarified that year 3 was going to be our culmination year, where the trust and the deep partnership that we had built and the careful listening we did in community readied us to embark on creating plans for the future of our community. We successfully stayed together over multiple years and stayed the course of our work as a result of clarifying purpose. And I also want to add here that in clarifying purpose, it's really important to hone in on roles and responsibilities. It's important to explicitly articulate the responsibilities that all of the partners are expected to participate in. For example, who will be fundraising, doing coordination, or attending partnership meetings. Also, write down or chronicle any unique responsibilities that a partner or partners might hold that others don't, such as who's doing graphic design, who's managing the resources, or drafting the legal agreement. Lastly, consider how to equitably approach the distribution of work so that there isn't a lopsided level of responsibility and that the work matches the capacity and capability of each partner. Make sure you're budgeting to support that work and consider what types of non-monetary benefits or power might come with certain roles, such as access to the media or decision makers or other types of tables. Sarah, is there anything else you would add here?
I think that everything you captured was great, Andrea. The only thing that I would add is that oftentimes we know that partnership work evolves over time. And so your outcomes might shift, or the amount of resources that you have might decrease or it might increase. And so if someone is responsible for instance, managing the resources of your project, if the resources were to double, you don't want to automatically assume that that member has the capacity to handle the increased work. You as a partnership want to regroup, come together again, reassess the roles and responsibilities, and make sure that the distribution of the work is equitable so that everyone can feel supported and sustainable in the work that you're doing together. Lastly, we want to talk to you about conflict. Conflict is natural and it occurs in every relationship, personal or professional. Many of you have probably experienced this yourself. You might have seen it impact or even take down other community collaborations. The key to successfully navigating conflict and even growing stronger from it is about preparing for it. Invest time at the beginning of your collaboration and throughout your work together to discuss how you each define and respond to conflict. Form group agreements around conflict. Build generative conflict skills. And plan in advance what kind of conflict resolution practices you'll use when conflict arises.
Are there specific questions you think could be helpful for people to discuss?
Absolutely. Some useful questions to discuss as a group are: what experiences, norms, and values does each member hold around conflict? What is your default response to conflict? We each have an instinctual response to conflict. Do you try to avoid it? Do you immediately jump to solutions? Increasing our self-awareness of how we instinctively respond, as well as learning about each other's default responses, helps us understand one another more deeply, and it helps us choose how we want to respond in the heat of the moment. And what does your collaborative need to have alignment around in order to achieve its purpose? And what does it not need to have alignment around? The beauty of collaborations is that they often bring together very diverse partners. This is a strength, and we don't need to operate exactly the same as each other in every single way. Lastly, what approaches or practices would your collaborative like to turn to when conflict arises? Are there cultural or other identified practices for the collaboration, such as restorative justice circles, or perhaps there are designated trusted advisors in your community that the group would want to consult?
Sarah and I shared an experience of conflict in a partnership we both belong to, that in hindsight, we recognize could have been better navigated with these very steps. We had strong desires to be together in that partnership and to be in the work, as well as we were committed to working through whatever conflict came up. What we didn't do was tend to the conflict that was brought into the room with us. We could have teased it out, named it, and done some repair work around it before stepping into the work we set out to do. We eventually got there, though there were stumbles along the way, but we did get back on track and were able to move forward. So again, asking yourselves the questions that Sarah outlined and becoming well-versed in these tools to be able to respond in a manner that nurtures the partnership and honors each individual that comes to the work. In closing, I'd like to recap the 3 takeaways. Just how important it is to get clear and aligned on the purpose of the collaboration, how crucial it is to clarify roles and responsibilities, and last but not least, It is vital to prepare or position yourself for the possibility of conflict. Again, 3 key items worth keeping top of mind. With that, we close out by encouraging everyone to look at the materials in the toolkit and explore the links to more resources. And I thank you. Thank you for wanting to be in this work in a sustainable way.
We hope that this video helps you begin to explore ways to strengthen your partnerships, and that the other written materials of the toolkit are things that you and your partners can dig into as you try to establish the strongest partnership possible to advance the work that you're doing. We know that all of us are tackling huge problems that have been around for sometimes decades, even generations, that are complex. And in order to find solutions, we need to bring many minds together. And doing that requires partnerships that are thoughtful, partnerships that are strategic, partnerships where each of us feels supported and sustained. And so thank you for spending this time to think about community partnerships and collaborations, and thank you for the work that you each are doing to support community.